In the quiet shadows of American history lies a story few ever hear. The story of a young man who was never meant to be a legend. Before he became the first president, before he became the face of a nation, George Washington was simply a boy fighting against poverty, loss, and a world determined to break him. What transformed this ordinary young man into the unstoppable leader who changed the fate of the world? Today, you're not just hearing history. You're hearing the untold rise of George Washington, the rise that textbooks never showed you. Please like and subscribe, ****. George Washington's beginnings were far from royal or rich. Born in 1732 in the colony of Virginia, he lived in a world controlled by powerful British elites. His father's early death shattered his dreams of formal education. And at only 11 years old, Washington faced a painful reality. Life would not grant him any privilege. Yet, instead of giving up, he learned to shape his own destiny. He worked tirelessly as a land surveyor, walking miles through wild forests, storms, mountains, and dangerous native territories. Those years hardened him, taught him discipline, courage, and silence. Nature became his teacher. Responsibility became his companion. By the time he was 20, Washington had already developed the two things that would define him forever: unbreakable patience and fearless ambition. While others doubted him, Washington quietly built the foundation of a man prepared for greatness. But destiny tested him again. At 21, Washington entered the military world, where he faced humiliation rather than honor. He was young, inexperienced, and ignored by British generals who saw him as just another colonial boy. But Washington never forgot their disrespect became fuel. During the French and Indian War, he rode through bullets that tore through his coat, killed horses beneath him, and left his soldiers dying in his arms. Yet he survived every single battle, becoming a symbol of impossible courage. Stories spread of the bulletproof colonel, the man who could not be killed. Washington began to earn something far more powerful than rank. He earned respect and fear. The colonies started to see him not just as a soldier, but as a leader who could stand firm even when the world collapsed around him. When tension between America and Britain exploded, Washington faced his hardest choice: stay loyal to the British crown, or fight for a free nation that did not exist yet. It was a choice only a visionary could make. In 1775, the Continental Congress elected him commander-in-chief. But what people didn't know was how terribly unprepared he was. His army had no shoes, no training, no weapons, barely any food. They were farmers holding on to hope. Washington could have surrendered and the world would never know his name. But instead, he built an army out of nothing. He walked barefoot with his soldiers, slept in freezing tents, and inspired them with one unshakable belief: liberty is worth everything. Through defeat after defeat, Washington held the revolution together with sheer will. Without him, America would have collapsed before it was even born. Then came the moment that changed world history forever. The crossing of the Delaware River, with his army starving and morale broken. Washington decided to execute a plan so risky that even his officers doubted him. On Christmas night, through ice, darkness, and deadly winds, he led his men across the freezing river. Many soldiers had no boots. Blood stained the snow. But Washington didn't turn back. This victory at Trenton revived the Revolution and breathed life back into an army on the edge of death. His leadership wasn't just strategy, was heart. It was sacrifice. It was a reminder that freedom is never won by comfort, but by courage strong enough to defy the impossible. That night, George Washington didn't just save the Revolution, he saved the future of a nation. After 8 long years, Washington achieved the unimaginable. He defeated the greatest empire on earth. But what he did next shocked the world. Unlike every great conqueror before him, Washington refused power. He stepped down, choosing peace over authority. This single decision proved something extraordinary. George Washington didn't fight for fame or crowns. He fought for principles. And when America needed him again, he returned as its first president, shaping a country with no blueprint, no guide, and no certainty. Yet his honesty, humility, and vision built the foundation of modern America. The greatest rise in history was not of a warrior, but of a man who valued character over power. And that is the untold rise of George Washington, rise that changed the world forever. In the quiet shadows of American history lies a story. Few ever hear the story of a young man who was never meant to be a legend. Before he became the first president, before he became the face of a nation, George Washington was simply a boy fighting against poverty, loss, and a world determined to break him. What transformed this ordinary young man into the unstoppable leader who changed the fate of the world? Today, you're not just hearing history, you're hearing the untold rise of George Washington, rise that textbooks never showed you. Like and subscribe ****.